Good day, Violent Community. Mr. Rick here with the first of a bunch of continuing videos on, we thought we'd start off with classic country. Last week I went ahead and did an intro video, and this time I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the old, just a few of the old classic country albums that you may or may not remember. We'll kick it off first. We'll go back to 1963. If you remember a fellow by the name of Bobby Bare, he had a big hit called Detroit City at that time. This is one of his first LPs. He had come out in 1958 with a song called All American Boy, but he didn't use his name. He used Bill Parsons as his name. And then 5 years later, he hit with Detroit City, and I think this is one, if not his first, album for RCA, and a good one too, I might add. Kenny Rogers in the first edition. This is from 1969. Now, there was a fellow by the name of Mel Tillis, and Mel, back in the World War II, when he was a boy, he lived in an apartment complex, and the people in the next apartment over were always fighting. The man had been a veteran of World War II and had lost his legs in a wheelchair, and that's what this song was really written about by Mel Tillis. But he changed the World War II to the Vietnam War, of course, but that's where Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town came. The idea was from his boyhood. And it was a big hit for Kenny Rogers in the first edition, of course, too. And this is a good album if you like Kenny Rogers. Ernest Tubb and Loretta Lynn, this is from 1969, and they have been, I think this is their third album together. When Ernest met Loretta, he just fell in love with her, and they became teammates, and they made 3 albums together. This is called If We Put Our Heads Together, and they had been making some good records together. Who's Gonna Take Your Garbage Out was the hit off of this album. Who's Gonna Take Your Garbage Out When I Pack My Things and Gone? There's 2 boys that I've always enjoyed, Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. I haven't had a chance to listen to this one yet. I just picked it up, but boy, it's a good one. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. I've heard excerpts from it and enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to listening to this one. Flatt and Scruggs at Vanderbilt University. Eddie Arnold got started in 1945 during World War II, but couldn't make any records until 1946 because the war had taken all the slack, and only the important recording artists like Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters were getting were the only ones making records at that point. But this is one of his first 12-inch albums from 1955 called Wanderin', and it's basically just him and his guitar playing a whole bunch of folk songs, and a good one. I enjoyed Eddie Arnold's. He's made so many records, I tell you, I must have 30 Eddie Arnold albums. Here's up to 1960. Here's a good laugh. This is Homer and Jethro at the Country Club. And what they do is they've got a whole bunch of country artists that are in the audience, and they just basically do their show. They announced that Jim Reeves is in there, and Grandpa Jones, and several others. And this album, if you ever find a copy, it's a good listen. Homer and Jethro at the Country Club. Jerry Lee Lewis, back in I guess it was around 1964 or 65, he looked around and at most of the people that had been buying his records and noticed that they were all listening to country music. So he decided if he was going to continue on, he'd better go to country music. So he got a contract with Mercury Records and started putting out his own country from the 1960s and 70s. And this is one of the first Jerry Lee records on MGM. I think 1969 is when this one came out. And it's just basically a copy of a lot of country hits previous to it. But he made a good country singer. I thought Jerry Lee Lewis made a great country singer. here's Barbara Mandrell, one of her first albums. This is called Treat Him Right, and this is from 1971. Barbara was, what can you say about her? Gosh, she was gorgeous, and a good singer too. If you remember her television show, she could play just about every instrument imaginable, from a fiddle down to a steel guitar to a banjo and everything else. She was really a talent. She really is talented, and she's still out there, from what I understand. And this is one of her first Columbia records, Treat Him Right. Back in 1982, Columbia Records came out with a series of albums called Columbia Historic Edition. And they went back into the 1940s, into the vaults, and they pulled out Gene Autry's records and Roy Acuff's early stuff, and the Sons of the Pioneers, and just Patsy Montana, and just many of them. And I've got most of them. I'm still missing a couple of them, but these are really, if you like classic country, really early stuff from the 30s and 40s, and you find these records, they're good quality, because of course they're coming from Columbia Record Vaults, and there's also a couple of tracks that were never released on these albums. And of course the back, they show you they've got a discography, and they tell you all about the recording of it. And this one is Gene Autry, and a mighty good record there too. I enjoy that one. And here's another one that's interesting. This is Hank Williams, Rare Takes and Radio Cuts. Now, most of these are from his radio show. He had a health and happiness show back in 1949, and a lot of these are clips from his radio show. But there are also a couple that are from the Grand Ole Opry, and this is a good listen also. There's also an explanation of all the songs on the back of it, and it's a mighty good lesson. And that's about all I've got for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll get together next week, and maybe I'll jump out some of the old pop records, or maybe some of the old rock and roll things, or just, note in the comments section. And we'd love to honor requests too. We've got, like I said, there's 6,000 albums here, not to mention CDs and 78s and cassettes and all kinds of it. I have my own record store, so to speak. So, okay, well, thanks for listening, and this is Mr. Rick saying that if the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise, we'll see you for long.